It's time now to check out what's new in this month's Buckeye Review. We're going beyond the headlines to learn more about a woman leading the way in the microelectronics industry and a new show that's streaming on Netflix that you might want to add to your watch list. Editor-in-Chief Dontera Terrell is back to give us the scoop on this and much more. Great to see you.
Yes, great to see you as always. Thank you for having
Yes.
me.
Yeah, very exciting. We're already to November. November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, Dontera. So can you share more about the resources people can access for their loved ones?
Yes, well, actually, I first want to just give a brief background on Alzheimer's awareness. So, did you know that someone in the world develops dementia every 3 seconds, according to the Alzheimer's Disease International? And the numbers will continue to rise and almost double every 20 years. And also, Black Americans are twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's, but are diagnosed later, meaning there are fewer treatment options and less time to plan with family caregivers or just the treatment options. And some of these reasons are barriers to access, underrepresentation in research, as well as the tendency to seek help for severe symptoms early on, and rather than early intervention. Early signs are not just forgetfulness. There's mood swings, there's repeating information, confusion with time or place, as well as difficulty completing tasks. The stigma that people associate with memory loss is that it's normal aging. So sometimes they delay seeking help, which isn't always the case. So some of the resources that you can use, whether you're a family caregiver or you have some concerns about someone, memory cafes, church-based support, adult day centers, as well as free screening centers.
A Different World is also now streaming on Netflix, and it's creating a new generation of fans. In fact, the Buckeye Review just sat down with Karen Melina White. Can you tell us a little bit more about that conversation and the significance behind this show? Tell us more about it.
Yes, well, A Different World actually came out in 1987. Can you believe that? And the cultural conversations are still very widespread, almost 40 years later. Karen Melina White is actually a graduate of Howard University, and she's a Philadelphia native. She's an actress, producer in television and film, and you might have seen her in Shameless, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Animal Kingdom, The Proud Family, Malcolm and Eddie, 911, How to Get Away with Murder, just to name a few. But I actually wrote a personal essay and infused a lot of Karen's thoughts in interviewing her into the piece because being that it's back on Netflix, it's reevaluated through a new cultural lens. Some of the conversations that are happening in a time when identity, representation, and belonging are louder than ever, and they need to be revisited, whether it's classism, racism, sexism, colorism, apartheid, romance, friendship, and even that personal development or growth. A Different World touched on every subject. So I think it was a little bit about everyone in terms of identity and representation. So we talk a lot about TV influencing fashion or trends, but this show specifically influenced education paths, career paths, and even self-worth. So that's a different level of cultural impact. Karen played Charmaine Brown, for those of you who don't know, and she expanded that representation of Black womanhood in a few of the later seasons. And as I said, she didn't just come on the show as an actress. She actually brought that energy, infused that energy in real life experiences of being a Howard University grad, which Hillman College was loosely based on, one of the schools that influenced it as well. So if you haven't already, please be sure to check out that interview and my personal essay. Really great thoughts to it.
And real quick, another woman that you're spotlighting this month, the local spotlight, is Megan Wagner, a newly appointed regional node manager for the National Network of Microelectronics under the SEMI Foundation. So real quick, explain her role, what that industry entails.
Wow. So what I did not know was microchips power everything from smartphones, cars, medical devices, computers, home appliances, you name it. So Megan represents a non-traditional pathway to tech leadership, which is truly fascinating because normally these roles go to engineers. So this is a major win for our region to have someone from our community to help shape and spearhead strategy at the national level. Of course, at the Buckeye Review, we also want to give always want to give a local spotlight. And so she's the newly appointed, as you mentioned, regional node manager for the National Network for Microelectronics. And this is one of the most critical industries in the country. And she oversees $100 million in funding to grow workforce pipelines in microelectronics. So shout out to Megan Wagner.
Yes, absolutely. And you can check out more of these stories and much more on BuckeyeReview.com while you're there. Also, don't forget to click subscribe to their emails. Dontera, great to catch up with you. A lot of inspiring people here in this segment today.
Yes, every story we share today affects somebody watching, whether it's a family caregiver, a professional deciding their career path, or a young woman or man, just figuring out their identity. So yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Well, thank you.